Pleased to be joined in our OneSoccer studio by Diana Matheson. And Diana, you made a pretty big announcement announcing your retirement. You joined the national team in 2003. A lot of people remember you for that incredible goal in 2012. We'll get to that in just a moment. But congratulations, I'm sure, are in order here. But what are the emotions involved in making this decision?
Ooh, well, first of all, thanks for having me. Nice to see you. I think this has been something that's been coming, unfortunately. Just the injuries over the last few years have accumulated, you know, a couple knee injuries, couple foot injuries, and then my left foot just broke down in December, and there's really no coming back from it, unfortunately. No more surgical solutions to patch me together. I think my body sent me some pretty clear signals I was done, and I've had some good advice over the years from teammates who have said, play as long as you can. And I think I literally did that. I think I ran myself into the ground a bit. So yeah, I'm announcing my retirement, but really I've known I've been done for a few months now, but I'm looking forward to what's next.
I can imagine it was tough to grapple with, because I'm sure you would have loved to have been at the World Cup. We know the Olympics are coming up as well. Was this really just your body saying no?
Yeah, and just a bit of unlucky timing, really. So it's the same foot that kept me out of the 2019 World Cup, and then I was able to come back from that. I played in the NWSL season, or the Challenge Cup, in the pandemic year, and I mean, in an ideal world, none of us would have had this pandemic. The Olympics also would have been last year, and I think I could have squeaked in one more Olympic Games, but the way everything just went out, my foot couldn't make it 2 more years. I was hoping to get 1 out of it, and I did, and then I just didn't plan that I would need to get 2 out of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's sad, some of the stories that we're hearing with the pandemic, of course, and how it's wreaked havoc on so many athletes' careers. But the bottom line is you have had an incredible career, and I want to relive some of those moments. But before I get into what was mine, which was 2012, is there a moment that stands out maybe the most to you that we're unaware of?
I'm sure there are lots of moments, but no, 2012, hey? 2012 is like, how cool is it that I mean, we had an Olympic moment, and like to grow up as we do watching the Olympics and loving Canadian athletes, and our team had one of those moments, and that goal, and then suddenly we were all over the papers when we came home. Like it was literally a dream come true, and it impacted Canadian soccer and all the things we wanted it to do. Really, so no, there's no bigger, more defining moment in my career. There's tons of moments with teammates over the years, and so many games and goals that weren't on camera. I mean, we did so much behind the scenes for 10 years, and yeah, all the moments with the teammates that became friends, that became family, and dance parties and flooded bathrooms and broken down buses and all those things, all those memories are my favorite too, but for soccer, 2012 for sure.
Incredible team that just a few years ago was inducted into the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame, the whole 2012 team. 92nd minute, so that's what we're referring to, because I'm sure everybody knows, but in case there's just a reminder, 92nd minute against France in that bronze medal game. You are the hero. I mean, Christine St. Clair scores a lot of goals, but how good did it feel as well that you were the hero?
Oh, it was fun. I mean, it felt good to score in that game because it was 93rd minute. Obviously, there was that dramatic U.S. game ahead of that. Christine St. Clair, speaking of, hat-trick, horrible refereeing, overtime. So we were mentally and physically exhausted in that France game, and France was all over us. So many more shots, so many more chances. So we were lucky to hold on that long in that game. And there was relief that we weren't going to have to play another 30. As much as there was happiness, there was relief. But I mean, it was just, it was kind of a cherry on top. It was icing on the cake that I got to put it in. I mean, scoring goals wasn't the main part of my game ever, but to do one on that stage in that moment, I mean, yeah, grateful.
It's incredible. 2016, Rio went on to pick up another bronze as well. You're a Pan Am champion. When you look back, being around the game as long as you have, where have you seen the growth of the women's game?
Oh, it's totally changed since I've been on the team. When I first made the team, not even all the players were playing professionally. I mean, those were the trailblazers still, who weren't getting paid very much, weren't on TV, none of that. But those were the true heroes that set the stage for the national team. Those are the players that we grew up with and really taught us what it meant to play for Canada. And then it's just got more and more professional since I've played. Everyone plays professionally now. On top of that, the standards in clubs are getting better. The contracts players are signing off the bat are getting better. Our players are winning Champion League titles now in Europe, and it's just become more of an industry. And the quality of play, for sure, is one thing. Every 4 years, women's soccer gets better and more exciting to watch. And then the dollars are starting to match it. As you can see, investment is coming in. It's growing faster than men's sports. The deals that they're signing in the Super League in England, it's incredible. I think there are $8 million a year now in broadcasting deals. Like, the dollars are starting to catch up with the sport. So that's for sure the biggest change. And I'm excited now that I get to move, past my playing career, but stay in sport when really there's a lot of growth and opportunity in women's sport.
So much growth, to your point. I mean, you're talking about the dollars and cents, because let's be honest, everyone always wants to look at that when they see something and say, oh, well, where's the value in it, right? In the last decade, from the NWSL to the WSL to all these other leagues that are popping up around the world for women, we are seeing this exponential growth. Does it almost feel like, just what was your reaction when you even first heard the NWSL was starting? Because again, like you said, women on the national team not playing pro, did it just feel like the beginning of something great?
Yeah, that was a big moment for us. That was right off the heels of 2012. The NWSL relaunched in the US. That was their third professional league. And Canada Soccer was a big part of it. They helped start the league. They allocated Canadians. So that was huge for us as players, because it guaranteed basically 12 to 15 Canadians were playing we're playing professional soccer, closer to home. It guaranteed contracts for us. And it was a huge game changer, I think, at the time. And I was excited. I went to DC. That was my first club I was allocated to, which is, just an hour and a half flight from Toronto. So it was nice to be playing at home, because most of us had been overseas. There'd been 1 or 2 in the US. I was in Norway, so it was nice to get more of us closer to home. And then, of course, the next step is we got to get clubs here, right? We need to get an NWSL team to Canada, selfishly to Toronto, and we need to build our own professional league as well, so that Canadians can actually play in Canada as well.
Yeah, because, one thing we've talked a lot about here at OneSoccer, and it's so wonderful to see Canadians excelling overseas, but sometimes you do see other Canadians like Jordan Huitema, Jessie Fleming, who don't get a lot of that playing time, and it's so wonderful to be there, but they would get that playing time here. If there was a Canadian team here, if there was a Canadian league here. Where's your interest in just fueling that now that you're retired?
Yeah, that's exactly where my interest is. We've talked about the 2012 team and to meander here a bit, that was the same team that had come last in a World Cup the year before in 2011. And that's when John Herdman entered our team. And what he did that was more important than anything was that he got us clear on why we were doing it. And we were a group that truly wanted to leave Canadian soccer different than when we found it. And that is what drove us into 2012. We knew we had to win something to make a difference. And that's still what drives me. We can still make a difference. There's so much potential right now in the Canadian landscape. I want to be a part of bringing an NWSL team to Toronto. I think that's the low-hanging fruit, to be honest. Nick Bontis has said it. He came on here. That's a priority for Canada Soccer, so I hope to see him push that through, in the next year or two. I think we can get an NWSL team pretty quickly to Canada. And then I think I can make the biggest difference in helping to build the professional league. I'm already working with people in Canada. Great soccer minds, great plan. There's a ton of data and work around women's sports right now. We could build a women's professional league in Canada in a way that hasn't been done before. It can be innovative, it can be player-driven, it can be diverse and inclusive and led by women. And 2026 is around the corner. And that's going to bring more investment. And I think if you're looking 5-10 years down the road, we've got an NWSL club, at least one, and we've got a women's professional league that has grown over these years. And we could have one of the top 10 leagues in the world in no time here. We just have to start building.
You just make me want to run through a brick wall. The way you're speaking, I'm like, this is going to happen. Now, would that stand on its own? Would that require help from Major League Soccer? How do you envision that even happening in Canada?
I think for NWSL, it's going to take someone like Major League Soccer to step up and run the team. And of course, again, Canada Soccer and Nick Bontis to really push it through, to make it a priority and make it happen. And then if you're talking about a league, that's going to take the right plan and the right people, which I think we have, and then the right partners to the table. We've already got interest, and there's obviously a huge movement in women's sports, so it's just about putting the pieces together now.
Is that what's personally next for you? Is that the goal?
Yeah, it is. I know it's so important, obviously, for women in sport, a diverse group of people in sport, for former players to stay involved in sport. And I know that, and now I think I'm excited because I think it's just my time to do that next thing now. I'm going to go get my MBA. I'm going to learn more about the business of football. I've been trying to learn as much about the Canadian landscape as I can already in the last year. So yeah, that's what's next. We can really build stuff now in Canada, and it's exciting.
Well, you look at the Canadian Premier League and you look what the men have been doing, and they're entering their third year. That's all about traveling across Canada. From the logistical point of view, like I would imagine you're keeping an eye on that too.
Yeah, exactly. We want to, that's a great example for us because they're only 3 years old. We can look at what's worked for them. We can look at what hasn't worked for them. We can look at other Canadian leagues. We can look at other women's professional leagues that have been really successful internationally as well. And I think we can pick and choose exactly what's worked. And we can build something that's for the Canadian player and with professional standards, you know, minimum standards, minimum salaries, at least a 6-month league. Like, let's build something for real here. I think we can really do it.
I think it's so exciting that you're going to stay involved because when somebody has the experience that you have and has the soccer mind that you have, you want it to stay in the game. But I do want to leave the last word here to you. Again, an illustrious career, an incredible resume. You have, I'm sure, an extraordinary trophy mantle as well. Who would you like to thank?
Oh, we don't have enough time for that, I think. I mean, everyone. I mean, I grew up in Oakville, so I mean, right off the bat, there's a lot of privilege there. I grew up in the biggest soccer club in Canada. Basically, I had parents who were very supportive of me and my brother and sister going in sports, and really, my family was the biggest driver. I mean, my parents went everywhere. They still go everywhere. I'm sure they wish, you know, Tokyo was last year too, because they would have been there in the stands, but. Family first, and then all the teammates who I played with over the years that, like I said, became friends and became family. Like, those women are absolutely my family, and I'm looking forward to joining the retired ones now because we can have a little more fun post-soccer, so I can join that crew a little sooner, have some wine on a beach, hopefully with a few of them.
Nice.
And just everyone I've met along the way, like media people, fans, kids, parents that said they looked up to us. I mean, it's been, the best part of sports is the people in it. So I know that's still around, and I'm obviously going to miss the players on the national team day to day, seeing them and seeing their faces, but I know everyone's still there.
It takes a village, right? That's that saying. Well, congratulations on an incredible career and good luck with what's to come. And I know since you're staying in soccer, our paths will cross.